You know that moment?
Mm-hmm.
You're just standing there, maybe waiting for coffee or like before a meeting kicks off.
Oh,
Or you
yeah.
bump into someone you kind of know, and there's just that silence.
That little bit of awkwardness settles in. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you're thinking, gosh, I wish I knew what to say right now. Just
Yeah.
anything to make it feel less weird.
Right. And that feeling, I think, can be even stronger when you're trying to have these moments in English, right? You want to connect, but maybe the words for just casual chat aren't quite there yet.
Precisely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going deep on, well, small talk.
Small talk. Often underestimated.
Totally. Those everyday chats that actually our source material suggests are way more important than we might think.
And for this exploration, we're looking at insights from excerpts of Mastering English Small Talk, drawing specifically from a Thinking in English episode. It's some really practical stuff.
Yeah, it really is. So our mission, basically, is to figure out what small talk is, why it actually matters so much, and, the big one, how you can use it, like really use it as a tool.
A secret weapon, even, as the source hints.
Maybe, to help boost your English fluency, feel more comfortable, more confident in those everyday situations.
And I'll be aiming to connect those practical bits from the source to, well, the bigger picture, highlighting just how powerful mastering these seemingly tiny interactions can be for you on your English journey.
Okay, let's jump in. The source, right away, says small talk is not trivial. It makes a really strong argument for why it's important. Why does it put so much emphasis on what lots of people just brush off as, filler?
That's one of the core ideas, isn't it? The source argues it's not the main conversation itself, but it's the necessary starting point, the way in. It calls it a gateway to real conversation.
A gateway. I like that. Like it opens the door.
Exactly. Think of it like building a little bridge before you try to have a bigger exchange.
Okay, so how does it work as this gateway? What are the specific benefits the source mentions?
Well, it lists several key things. First, and maybe the most obvious one for those awkward moments you mentioned, it helps you break the ice.
Right. Cuts the tension.
Yeah, it just eases things, makes starting a conversation feel less intimidating, maybe?
It's that social lubricant to get things moving.
Okay, warms things up. What else?
Crucially for language learners, it's all about practice. Low stakes, high frequency practice. The source highlights that it lets you practice listening and speaking in a very real, very natural setting.
So not like a textbook exercise.
Not at all. You're actually talking with someone, reacting in real time.
That's a huge difference, moving from theory to, like, the street.
Totally. And because the topics are usually pretty everyday things, it helps you build vocabulary for everyday topics. The weather, which you did on the weekend, coffee, stuff you actually use.
Right, practical language you might not get in a formal lesson. And there was one more benefit. Yes, confidence. It helps you gain confidence in social situations. Every little chat you manage, even if it's just for a minute, feels like a win.
Okay. So those small successes build up.
Exactly. They build momentum, make you feel a bit braver for the next conversation. It chips away at that anxiety.
That makes complete sense. It's practical, it builds language skills, and it boosts your confidence. And, the source points out something else important here. It's not just learners who do this.
Absolutely not.
Native speakers rely on small talk all the time. It's a fundamental. They call it a social skill, right? Not just about language.
That's such a key distinction. If it's a core social skill in English-speaking cultures, well, getting comfortable with it is vital for actually participating, for feeling like you fit in those everyday moments.
It's about social comfort, not just grammatical perfection.
Precisely. And the source really nails this with a quote that honestly sticks with you. Big friendships often start with small talk.
Wow. Big friendships often start with small talk.
Oh,
that really reframes it, doesn't it?
It does. It's not just about filling silence anymore.
It's about potential, real connection. So if we think about that, for you listening, it means learning these little skills can genuinely open doors, making a friend, feeling easier with colleagues, just making daily errands smoother.
It all starts there. It's the foundation, you could say, that allows those deeper connections to maybe happen later. It's harder to get there without that initial ease.
Okay, so we get why it's important. Gateway, skills, confidence, connection, potential.
Right.
But then the next big question is, what do we actually talk about? That pressure of finding a topic can be just as paralyzing. What does the source suggest?
Yeah, that's a common hurdle, but the source gives a very handy go-to list. Common topics that are generally seen as safe, neutral, easy to access, stuff you can talk about with people you don't know well.
Things we mostly share or can observe.
Exactly. Shared experiences.
Okay, lay it on us. What's on the list?
All right. The source mentions the weather. That's the classic, right? Always there.
Can't go wrong with the weather.
Work or school, if you're in that shared context, obviously. Weekend plans, asking about them, or talking about yours.
Mm-hmm.
Food and drink, always relatable. Hobbies and interests, trying to find that common ground. TV shows or movies, popular culture stuff. And sports or exercise, another common interest area.
Okay, those make sense. They're all pretty light, nothing too personal, easy to make a quick comment on.
Exactly. And the source emphasizes the goal here. It's about simple, friendly interaction, not, a deep philosophical discussion.
Right, not solving world problems.
No, just a brief, pleasant connection. And that should feel quite reassuring, I think. You don't need to overthink it.
That is a relief. Lower the stakes. Just connect lightly.
Precisely. Ease and accessibility.
Okay, so we know why it matters. We have a list of what to talk about. Now, for the really practical bit, the source actually gives us tools, right? How do we start these chats? What are some phrases we can use?
Yes, this is where having a little preparation really helps. The source offers several specific examples of opening lines. Just having a couple of these ready in your mind makes it feel much less daunting.
You don't have to invent something brilliant on the spot.
Exactly. Use a tried and tested opener.
Let's hear some. What does the source recommend?
Okay, you could go with something really simple, classic. Hi, how's your day going? Friendly, open-ended.
Nice and easy.
Or commenting on what's around you. Nice weather today, isn't it? Always works.
Yep, the weather again. Reliable.
It is. Or you could tap into those weekend plans. What do you usually do on weekends? Or maybe about interests. Have you seen any good movies lately?
Okay.
Even something really simple like offering or asking about a drink. Do you like coffee or tea?
Ooh, I like that one. Very low-key, opens the door easily.
Absolutely. And if you're, say, at work or maybe a class, something related to the context. How long have you worked here or studied here?
God.
The main thing, really, as the source implies, is just to have a few of these ready to go. They're just starters, prompts to get the ball rolling.
So the actionable thing here for you listening is maybe pick 2 or 3 of those that feel natural for you. And practice them. Like, actually say them out loud. Get them ready.
Mental rehearsal definitely helps. Makes it smoother in the moment.
Yeah.
Getting comfortable just saying the words is half the battle.
Right. Okay, so you've done it. You've broken the ice. Used a phrase. What next? You don't want it to just fizzle out. How do you keep it going for a little bit? The source has tips for that too, right?
It does. It outlines basically 3 key techniques to move from that opening line into a short, flowing interaction. These are the skills that turn a one-liner into a pleasant little chat.
Okay, technique number 1. How do we get the other person to say more?
First one, ask open questions. The source explains why this is so important you can't answer them with just yes or no.
Avoids the dead end.
Exactly. They need a bit more detail, which naturally keeps the conversation going and gives you something else to respond to.
Makes sense. Can you give some examples based on those topics we listed?
Sure. So instead of, do you like your job? The source suggests something like, what do you like about your job?
Okay, more specific.
Or instead of, do you have free time? Brad, how do you spend your free time? Or even, what kind of music do you enjoy? They invite sharing.
Much better. They create space. Okay, technique 2 for keeping it flowing.
Technique 2 is to show interest. This is all about active listening, signaling that you're engaged, that you actually care, even just a little about what they're saying. It encourages them to continue.
How do we do that? What are some simple ways?
The source gives some really easy phrases. Really, said with genuine interest, of course.
Tone is key there.
Definitely. Or, that sounds fun, if they mention an activity. Or the really simple, powerful one, tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. Simple, direct.
Yeah, they're easy to use, show you're paying attention, and invite them to elaborate a bit. It acknowledges them.
Okay, so open questions, show interest. What's the third tip?
The third one is crucial for making it feel like an actual exchange, not an interrogation. Share a little about yourself.
Right, it's got to be two-way.
Exactly. Conversation flows back and forth. So after they answer your question or share something, the source suggests you offer something related about yourself.
Build on what they said. Give me some examples.
Okay, so if they just mentioned they like hiking, you could say, oh, I love hiking too. Have you been to mention a local spot?
Creates a connection.
Or if they talked about watching dramas, you could say, I usually watch comedies. Have you seen that new one? Or maybe about learning. Yeah, I started learning English last year too. It's challenging, huh?
Gotcha. Offer something relatable back.
Yeah, it links to what they said, makes it a shared moment, and maybe gives them a chance to ask you something back. Keeps it alive.
It turns it from just asking questions into a proper exchange. Mutual.
Exactly. Finding those little points of connection.
Okay, but let's be real. We're talking about learning English here.
Yeah.
What happens if you hit a snag? What if you just don't understand something? They talk too fast, use a word you don't know. That's a big fear, right? Does the source tackle that?
It absolutely does, and it offers some really important reassurance first. The main thing is, don't panic.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True. But misunderstandings happen all the time, even between native speakers. It's normal. But then it gives you practical phrases, tools to use right in that moment.
Okay. Lifelines, what are they?
You can use something direct and polite, like, sorry, can you say that again? Simple.
Okay.
Or if you want to give a reason, sorry, I'm still learning English, that often makes people more patient.
Good point. Context helps.
If it's a specific word causing trouble, you can ask, could you explain what that means? Or just a general plea for help. I don't understand. Can you help me?
Those are super useful. Just having those ready lowers the anxiety a lot. And the message behind this from the source is maybe the most powerful part.
Yes, definitely. The source is really clear. Being honest is okay. You don't have to pretend. You don't need to feel embarrassed.
Right, just admit you missed something.
Yeah, admitting you didn't catch something actually shows you are listening and trying. Most people are really understanding, you know? They'll usually happily rephrase or explain if they know you're learning. It can actually make the interaction feel more human.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It just takes so much pressure off. Permission to be a learner. It makes trying small talk feel much less scary.
Way less scary. It changes the goal from I must be perfect to I'm here to communicate and learn.
Okay, so we've got the why, the what, how to start, how to keep going, even how to handle problems. Now, the source doesn't just leave it there, does it? It talks about actually practicing this stuff. How does it suggest we do that?
Right. Moving from theory to action. It mentions the idea of practicing scenarios, maybe role-playing.
Like talking to yourself or a
Yeah.
friend.
Could be either. Just imagine a situation, maybe bumping into a colleague by the coffee machine, and mentally, or even out loud, run through it. Use the phrases. Like, imagine saying, hi, how was your weekend? Then imagine their answer and think about how you'd respond, maybe sharing something brief about yours.
Okay, so simulation helps build comfort.
Yeah.
What about real life? The source has those daily challenges, yeah.
Yes. It suggests specific, small, manageable tasks to actually start using small talk in your everyday routine. Little steps into the real world.
Daily challenges. Tell me more. What kind of things?
They're pretty practical, like challenge yourself to start one conversation with a coworker or classmate you only know a little bit.
Okay, just one.
Or specifically ask someone about their weekend plans. Or make a deliberate comment about the weather to someone nearby, maybe waiting in line, or the cashier if it feels natural.
Low-stakes interactions.
Exactly. Or just consciously try to use one of those opening phrases or continuation phrases we talked about in a public setting where a quick chat wouldn't be weird.
Those sound really doable. Not asking you to give a speech, just initiate a tiny exchange.
Precisely. And the source really hammers home a key point here, connecting back to that big impact idea. Even short interactions help a lot.
Even 30 seconds.
Yeah, even if it's just 30 seconds. The act of starting, listening, understanding, or asking for help and responding, it all builds fluency and confidence over time. It's the accumulation of lots of small moments.
So it's not about hitting a home run conversation every time. It's just about consistently stepping up to the plate, even for a quick interaction.
That's a great way to put it. Small talk, small steps, leading to bigger results down the line. Laying that foundation bit by bit.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows how the source reframes small talk.
Yeah.
It's definitely not just pointless chatter. It's positioned as, well, a vital skill, that gateway to real conversation.
Mm-hmm. Powerful tool.
Yeah, because it helps you break the ice, gives you that essential practice in listening and speaking, builds your vocabulary for everyday stuff, and maybe most importantly, helps you gain real confidence in social settings.
And we looked at those safe, common topics. The source suggests weather, weekends, work, the list, so you have an idea of what to talk about.
And we got armed with those specific, practical phrases from the source. How to start the chat, how to keep it going with open questions, showing interest, sharing a bit about yourself.
And crucially, how to handle those moments of not understanding, having those phrases ready. Can you say that again? I'm still learning. And remembering that core message. Being honest is okay. It's part of learning.
Right. And all of this, as the source emphasizes, is about building that foundation of natural conversation, using small talk to open doors socially, professionally, and just using it to practice English every day, bringing you closer to fluency with each little chat.
It seems clear from the source material that if you shift your perspective, see small talk not as this scary thing, but as an accessible tool, maybe even that secret weapon, and you actively practice these simple techniques, it can genuinely change how you feel and how you connect in English.
Absolutely. It turns what might feel like a barrier into, well, a path forward, a path with lots of opportunities. And thinking about that practice element, those daily challenges, maybe here's a final thought for you listening. What's just one small conversation you could start today?
Just one.
Yeah, maybe using just one phrase or topic we talked about from the source. Think about who you might see later. Coworker, neighbor, cashier, friend you usually just text. Pick one interaction. Give it a shot.
A small step.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the art of small talk. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep connecting.